What up, Fightful fam, and welcome to your UFC Vegas 25 watch-along live stream. Shaquille Majuri joined by friend of Fightful. You guys know him. So grateful to have him here for the first time. Steven Jensen, how's it going, dude?
Doing good, Shaq. As I was telling you before, I had kind of a strange day, but it was really good overall. I drove from Atlanta, Georgia to Nashville, Tennessee, technically Waterton, Tennessee, kind of outside of Nashville, and went to the grand opening of Music City Toys and Collectibles, their brick and mortar store, which was a lot of fun. And I got to meet UFC Hall of Famer Dan Severn, so that was a really, really good day, man. And then the car ride kind of sucked on the way back, but we're better now, so.
Well, it's funny. You were telling me about the great chat you had with Dan Severn. I can't help but think what a downgrade this is for you, going from the legend Dan Severn to the man who can't grow a mustache if his life depended on it. But either way, I thank you for making the time today.
No, I appreciate it, man, and I'm very grateful to be here today as well. So
yeah, and for those of you who've been waiting so patiently, thank you. We're super happy to have you. You guys know how this goes. We're here to hold you down for, I guess, the last minute of Jacoby versus Cutelaba, as well as the co-main event, Giga Chikadze versus Cub Swanson, and, of course, your main event between, sorry, I was just looking at this insane exchange, Dominick Reyes and Jiri Prochazka. Quick reminder, if you can, guys, please hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, leave a thumbs up on this video. That helps more eyeballs roll in. We very much appreciate it. If you want to get your question, comment, concern, critique, criticism, read on the air, super chat donation, best way to do that. Leave $1, leave 1,000. I've got a preference, but it's all good either way. Steven, for a fight, you know, it's so funny. Nick Baldwin, shout out to my homie Nick, was saying that this card has been nothing but decisions, with the exception of one DQ up kick, courtesy of Randa Marcos. He said there's no way Cutelaba versus Jacoby goes all 3 rounds, and on my screen, we're about 5 seconds away from that being the case.
I know, and you really wouldn't have figured with these two guys' styles and the pre-fight stuff with the weigh-ins and all that. Like, you figured they'd be. I mean, and to be fair, those guys. I mean, they were headhunting. I mean, they were landing out there.
They were really going for it. They're both bloodied up. Like, yeah, it's. This is the thing, though, right? Like, I am not the kind of guy. In fact, if you're gonna give me good content, if you're gonna give me good fights, go 15 minutes. I don't know if I'm guessing you didn't get to see the prelims.
No, I was in the process of getting ready for this. Yeah.
TJ Brown, Kai Kamaka, possible fight of the year contender. So you're going to have to rewind and watch that one. Both dropped one another, insane exchanges, near submission attempts. That was like 3 rounds. It was the sort of fight that ended, you know, those rare split decisions where you get a 30-27 on the losing side and then you get like 2 29-28. It was a great time.
Okay, was Adelaide Bird like the outlier in that one? Or?
You know what? Granted, I was working while I was watching, but I could see with a limited scope how that fight could have gone either way. But the guys were just slugging it out. It was absolute insanity.
That's what's up. I'll check that out tonight. Actually, after this, I'm gonna catch up. That's what's up. How about last weekend that pay-per-view? The first 2 fights were like 2 match of the year contenders. Also, like,
oh, incredible!
Right, that.
Incredible. Yeah, this hasn't had quite the same maintenance of high energy from start to finish, but the ones that have been good have been pretty good. Cutelaba and Jacoby included. Can I get your quick predictions? I'm sure we'll get to it with like a little bit more depth as the fights roll on, but just very quickly, who do you have in the main and co-main tonight?
They're very tough to call. I'm a little biased with my Cub Swanson pick here because, you know, longtime fan, WEC days, all that good stuff. And he's looked really good in his last 2. In particular, that fight with Kron Gracie, where like that was a real fun fight. So I'm going to go Swanson in the co-main, and then I'm going to go Reyes in the main. Although Prochazka, like, I really want to pick him, but when I really think about it, it's like Reyes has only lost to like the tippy top guys of the division, and Prochazka is looking incredible and he's on a streak. So like it's hard to go against the streak, but at the same time, I feel like Reyes is back against the wall and he really needs this win. So I'm going to say Reyes gets it done, but that's like a 50-50 coin toss for me.
Wow, this fight just ended in a split draw, and now Cutelaba and Jacoby are. I'm shocked. You can see how close the referee is between the two, but I'm shocked that they even let them talk after that. I wasn't watching the fight that closely, but I don't know which round was so dominant that it was a 10-8.
That must have been the first.
Yeah,
I'm not
I guess
sure either.
Ilaba landed hard. He was kind of throwing him around, but there we go. A rare instance where just about everyone lost their money on a fight, but it's the name of the game. It happens.
Good to see them shake hands afterwards, though.
Yeah, 100% agree. And hey, it was a fun fight. If they want to run it back, I'd be down for it.
Sure. Yeah.
100%. Regarding the predictions, I'm going with Dominick Reyes too. Jiri Prochazka. I was talking to Aaron Weinbaum about this on Friday's 1-2 Punch podcast over at Fightful MMA, or on Fightful Select, excuse me. While I understand the hype, he knocked out Volkan Oezdemir. He's got a win over Vadim Nemkov. He was sort of running roughshod through Ryzen. It wasn't that long ago that he lost to a old and decrepit King Mohammed Lawal. He did avenge that loss, but prior to Oezdemir, if you look at the guys he's beaten in recent history, it's like CB Dollaway and Fabio Maldonado. Like, it's just... It's guys even King Mo, it's guys at the very, very end of their run. And the Vadim Nemkov fight was quite a while ago, before Vadim obviously became the Bellator light heavyweight champion. But even that, from what I've been told, it had more to do with that 10-minute first round that Ryzen employs. It was very taxing on Vadim. I think people are really quick to forget that Jiri was getting lit up in that first round against Volkan Oezdemir. It was a clear 10-9 for Volkan. He wasn't rocking him hard, but he was causing some visible damage that had Jiri a little off balance. I just think it's too soon to, Dominick's last two losses are to the two UFC light heavyweight champions. Jan Blachowicz has proven to be no joke. The John Jones fight, a lot of people thought he won. So I just think it's a little disrespectful to be counting Dominick out so easily. He's the slight underdog in this fight. If you're a fight analyst and you've really gone through each guy's resume and you want to go with Jiri, I respect it, but for all the other casual observers like myself, it seems really weird to count Dominick out to the degree that I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like you said, I mean, probably the two best guys in the division. I mean, John Jones and the current champion Jan Blachowicz. Like, you can't really fault those losses. And like you said, the Reyes fight was super close, and a lot of people think he won that fight. Man, it's funny when you mentioned like Prochazka's like the wins that he did have. Like, you're totally right about that. King Mo, I've always been a big King Mo fan, actually, like on a personal level. I like that he does pro wrestling and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
But you're right about that. Definitely on the downside of his career. Maldonado, remember him totally beating Fedor, but like not getting the win. That's
crazy.
That was nuts. But yeah, you're I think that's right on the money. And I think you're totally right. I'm seeing a lot of people counting out Dominick Reyes, and I just feel like that's unfair. Now, if Prochazka goes out there and starches him, then it's like, oh, okay, like Prochazka's the real deal. But this is,
and it could happen. Prochazka is a dangerous guy. By no means am I counting him out. I just think that people aren't giving Dominick Reyes his just dues.
Sure.
Yeah, either way, fun fight. Jiri's style is definitely not catered to anything other than action. So this card, if I'm not mistaken, over in the US and Canada, obviously, is on ESPN2, correct?
I'm watching through ESPN Plus, but I'm assuming it's probably on ESPN2 also. I can actually double check that.
So are the ESPN Plus
right.
cards always on ESPN2, or is this like one of the? It's not quite main flagship ESPN, but is it always on ESPN2?
I don't think it's always on ESPN2, but I think every time it is on ESPN2, it's also on ESPN Plus, if that makes sense.
I see. Yeah, I got you. So it seems like, although the card isn't all that exciting from a name value perspective, I think they've got the right main event to sort of show off to perhaps some new eyeballs that are drifting on ESPN2. Yeah.
I mean, especially with Reyes' name. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who tune in just because they remember that Jones fight, so that should be helpful.
100%. And regarding the co-main, we're seeing the promo for it right now. Giga Chikadze all day. I'm so sorry. I love Cub. He's a legend. I'm super amused by the way he pokes fun at the media. I think he can tell he's busting their. I think he can tell that the media in MMA, and I will fully admit that this is true as a member, it just takes things way too seriously.
Sure.
Not all of them, but enough of them. And I think Cub Swanson is a good time busting their balls. So shout out to Cub for that. Giga Chikadze, though, such an impressive striker, K1 level. I don't know at this stage if Cub, while very wily, and let's say this fight ends up on the ground, I think he's got the veteran status to do something significant with it. I just don't know if he has what it takes at this stage of his career to press the action. I think he's probably going to be outgunned on the feet, and I don't know that his offensive wrestling is going to get it done. So,
I think that's really good analysis. Yeah, no, I think that's totally fair. And the Swanson pick for me, like I said, he's looked really good in his last two. I remember the Kron Gracie fight, and then it was the Daniel Pineda knockout. So
Kron Gracie was like the perfect punching bag for Cub Swanson.
Yeah, that was the perfect fight. It really was. Like, I really, really enjoyed that one. The Swanson thing for me is kind of similar to. I make predictions before all the fights, either on my podcast or Twitter or somewhere, and I never pick against Andrei Arlovski. I just don't do it. Like, he's just been my dude for so long, and but every now and then, like this past one, he wins. So it's I'm not going to pick against my guys. Cub Swanson's one of my guys. I mean, I'd pick against him if it was him versus Alexander Volkanovski or something like that. But you know what I'm saying, a champion or something. But
no, and I get it. You have these guys. They're your favorites. And you know what? Andrei Arlovski is one of those guys that I never advise betting on because he's developed this sort of risk-adverse style that is super boring. Is in no ways the Pitbull of old, but it makes for such a hard fight if you're not technically a lot of the guys he ends up beating are the Tanner Bozers of the world, right? The guys who are sort of stepping up for the first time into that top 15. And you can't be gun-shy against Arlovski because I think at this stage of his career, he's slow enough and whatever the opposite of durable is enough that you can catch him pretty clean if you're a Jairzinho Rosenstruck level competitor. But if you give him space to work, it's just going to turn into 15 minutes of you getting outpointed.
Yeah, exactly. And you're totally right about that too. Those power punches that come after him usually have a lot of success if they're being aggressive. Yeah, man, it's wild just to see some of these guys still out there doing it. But especially after we saw, was it Overeem and JDS both left the UFC right at the same time, basically? But Arlovski's still in there trucking, man. So.
Wild. And I can't think of a bigger career turnaround than Andrei Arlovski. It was years ago. They were this guy's done. He can't take a shot anymore. He's aged out of the sport, and yet he makes this incredible resurgence. Has that ridiculous. I will never forget that fight versus Travis Brown, where he hit him with he threw a punch and then kind of came back and hit him with that back fist. So nice. Oh my God. I think that's the day that it truly cemented me as an Andrei Arlovski fan.
Yeah. And I'll never forget those days too, where I remember when he left the UFC the first time, and it was because he was considered one of the best heavyweights still, and he was still looking good, and he went and he fought Fedor, and he was piecing him up in the first round, then went for that flying knee out of nowhere and just got starched face down. It was oh no. And then that was what started, what you just were mentioning. He had that skid, lost to Anthony Rumble Johnson at heavyweight during that time too, and everything. And then but yeah, that return to because I think he was in Strikeforce or something before. I remember him doing something in between Affliction and UFC. And then when he made it back
World Series of Fighting?
That's what it was, WSOF. That's where he fought Rumble. That totally makes sense. So, but yeah, man, good times. It's wild that this 20 years already, these dudes.
Tell me, are you, now granted, this office space is not in my own home, so I have a little bit less. I can't be quite as picky with what I drink out of, but every time I saw that old Toyo Tires commercial, shout out to Forrest Griffin, they filmed a new one where, he's got, it might be Dominick Cruz and Dominick Reyes. Oh, no, it's Dominick Reyes and Anthony Pettis, and they're showing off the guns, and then the lady picks Forrest Griffin. People are always so mad that Forrest is drinking water out of a mug. Are you on that trend? Does this upset you? Does this offend you?
I do it all the time, Shaq. I am a single bachelor living in a condo by myself. I'll drink out of a Tupperware container if I have to. I don't care.
What difference does it make? It's all I don't. I don't know. How old are you, Steven?
I'm 32.
32. So I'm guessing if I've experienced this, you've experienced this. But that time in your young 20s when you come to the conclusion that everything around you is a social construct.
Sure. Yeah.
Let me drink out of a mug.
Yeah. YOLO, right? That's what the kids are saying.
My favorite is when other people come to the conclusion. I've definitely had someone be like, "Man, this is all just made up." I'm like, "Yep,
simulation." Yeah. How old are you, Shaq?
I am turning 26 in September.
Oh, there you go. Oh, you're still in your prime, brother. Man, I wish I was still in my mid-20s. Yeah, this year it doesn't get any better than where you're at right now. So keep drinking your water out of your mug and doing your thing, man.
Well, it's so funny because if you were to ask me what, like, you know, I think there's different peaks in life. There's like your career peaks, your social peaks, your emotional peaks, your relationship peaks, et cetera, et cetera. My physical peak must have been when I was 18. Like, I'm in better shape now, yet I am in so much more pain than I've ever been in my life. Like, I remember the day I used to sit in not even a gaming chair, just in a crappy office chair on my tailbone, legs up in the sky like nobody's business. And then one day on the ripe age of like 20, 21, I wake up and I'm like, I feel 80. My neck, my back, and everything else is just tense and sore all the time. I'm like, how did this happen so soon?
Dude, it's wild. And I'm don't want to bum you out, but like when you turn 30, other stuff starts kind of going on you too, man. Like I go hit golf balls once a week with my dad, just like something we do together. And I get sore from moving the ball from like onto the tee to drive it. You know what I mean? Just bending over and over. It's like my lower back is like killing me the next day, and just from bending over. Like,
so as we wait for the co-main event, which one I promise we'll get back to the fight talk. No pun intended, Steven. My girlfriend, bless her, she's a nurse, and I finally got onto her benefits around January or February. So I was just lapping it up. Everything is 100% covered after a certain point. I was going to physio every week, just started seeing a massage therapist. I was feeling the best I felt in like 5-6 years easy. And then she went back to school for a new position and her benefits cut out for a month. And I'm like, dang. So I go and cancel my appointments. I booked 4 massage therapy appointments for May. I opened the website today and it says that we're not actually covered until June when she's done her clinicals and her actual position begins. So I had this super sad moment where I went through 8 physio and massage therapy sessions and canceled each one.
Oh, that's the worst, dude.
Everything tensed up again. But I booked massage therapy every week from June through August.
Dude, that's awesome.
I'm going.
So I actually used to work at a massage clinic. I did it for like 4 or 5 years as like but I was like a manager. No, I wasn't a therapist, but I managed a therapist. And with that job, I got 1 90-minute massage for free a month. And I was doing that for, every month. And I can't tell you how, but like it helps so much. And it's been like a year since I've had one. And like my body is just yelling at me like, Steven, where's it at? Like, what, like, why did you stop doing this for us? So I actually completely understand what you're talking about with that right now.
Brothers in arms.
Yes.
All right, guys, here we go. About to get started. Giga Chikadze, Cub Swanson, co-main event. Giga immediately opening with the leg kicks. Cub is one of those guys, the fact that he's still ranked number 15 is insane. It's like, he is still so good. You can just tell from his movement. He looks young and light in there. Like, I don't think he could be any better at this stage of his life. If he's never a contender again, that's fine. But it's not like... he is declining about as slowly as anyone could decline.
Right, and I think it's helping him that he's fighting kind of like once a year or two. He isn't like putting his body through a whole lot, and he's probably giving himself a lot of time to recover. And I do this. It's starting to trip me out more and more now. Like I keep seeing them going for like they're feeling out the legs and they're going for. I can see them working on like checking kicks and stuff with these nasty leg injuries we've been seeing lately.
Oh god! Huge body kick from Giga. Floors Cub Swanson, and he's taking a bunch of punches to the head. Turtles. Giga finishes it in like 45 seconds. Giga Chikadze with the TKO, and Cub Swanson is still reeling.
Bravo to Chikadze. That was about as perfect a performance you can have right there.
Yeah, he was, Cub was still dry, and those body kicks hurt more at the beginning, right? Before your body's sort of warmed up and prepared to take damage. I'm not going to blame Cub. I'm not at all a fighter.
Sure.
And I don't know how much control of his faculties he had. I wish he could have, if he could have, instead of turtling up, gone to his back. Because he would have at least given him a chance to, pull guard, shell up a little bit. But when you're stuck in turtle, it just looks so bad. Even if you're blocking all the shots, you can tell the referees do not like it when you are curled up, knees to the floor, head to the floor like this. They just don't like it. And Herzog called it off immediately. I'd like to think if he was on his back, curled up, he might have been able to sort of rope someone into half guard. And he kind of went for it for a second. As soon as he got knocked down, he grabbed for a single leg. Giga did the right thing to pull his leg out, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah, very, very
sorry
well
you had
done.
to see that.
Oh no, it's all good. I mean, I'm happy for Giga, man. But I think you're totally right about that too. And Herzog is a great referee, so I mean, like that's
so consistent.
And that's the perfect word. He's consistent. He's decisive. It's very unlike Herb Dean lately, where he's like in and out, like deciding if he's going to stop a fight and stuff, bumping into fighters and confusing people. Yeah, man, that great performance right there. And I feel bad for Cub, but like, I don't think anybody's going to think he needs to retire. I mean, he could if he wanted to, but like, that doesn't really hurt him that bad, I don't think. I mean, you know, Giga's I think he's going to go on to be a contender, so.
Yeah, 100%. And wow, what a great performance for the small country of Georgia, Merab and Giga. Both coming out on top, and that place is emerging. I did I did a whole feature on all the big stars coming out of Georgia: Giga Chikadze, Merab Dvalishvili, Roman Deladze, some guys from LFA. It's wild. They've got a population of 4 million people, and they're producing these kind of contenders. And what some of them were telling me, it's just genetic. Like there is something in their bones where they are strong, and they say it's reflected in the way they wrestle with people. And to that effect, I saw Luke Thomas posted a home recorded video. It was an official record, but it was the heaviest snatch ever. For those unfamiliar, it's like the one where you grab the bar with the weights on the end, you kind of throw it up into the air, catch it. About 500-pound snatch, heaviest ever recorded by a Georgian weightlifter. So
wow,
those guys are strong, man. They're just built different. Everyone from that Caucasus region, the Dagestanis, the Georgians, it's insane.
Yeah, I wonder, is MMA just getting bigger and bigger over there? Is that kind of why this is happening right now? Like,
yeah, there's a lot of kind of fight warrior culture there. And some people asking about Dominick Reyes versus Jiri Prochazka has not started yet. It'll be up next. Probably make the walkout in 4 minutes. We'll let you guys know when that fight gets going. It's a small population. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sorry, my history is not great, but from what I remember from the conversations, they had a lot of conflicts with Russia, with the Soviet Union trying to take over their land. And I think they were in and out of that situation. Very poor for a long time. So they said there's a lot of street fighting, a lot of fighting culture. And while the sport isn't big, the fact that they now have these representatives on a world stage, Giga's been doing it for a while as a Glory and K1 kickboxer, it is now just escalating. You know how it is, right? When you have these stars develop in parts of the world that are sort of underserved when it comes to athletic excellence, the swelling, the ground support is insane, right? George St. Pierre in Canada, Kamaru, Israel, and Francis in Africa. It's not like the US. So when you have Giga and Merab doing so well, I think word spreads super quick. And from what I've heard, there are now a lot of big gyms developing in that area. That's
great. Yeah, that's always really cool to see. I remember, back in the day, like when Bisbee really opened up, like the UK for the UFC, and I'm kind of surprised we don't see more Cubans, like with Yoel's success and stuff, and like their kind of upbringing, like they're very tough, like fighters, like I mean, like from birth, some of them. And yeah, man, we're seeing it kind of more with China now as well. There's a ton of people in China, but we're seeing more Chinese representation.
As someone who the most I know about U.S.-Cuban relations are Julian Marquez's nickname. Where are we at now with like Cuban nationals, Cuban civilians and citizens traveling to the U.S. if they want to compete in MMA?
That's a great question. I really don't know the answer, and that's probably a great. Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. I'm 100% ignorant to that. But that I guess would be my first question, trying to dig through why that might be the case.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, though. I mean, because like I remember, I'll never forget that interview that Yoel did with Rogan, where he was like talking about his upbringing, and basically like the better wrestlers got to eat dinner essentially, and like other, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's how they grew up. So it's like I'm surprised there isn't just a list of UFC killers from over there, or a guy like who was the dude who was Amar Palhares, who would always like hold the subs too long. But then you find out that the dude was like literally competing for pig slop for meals as a kid. I mean, it's like,
man,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like it's like we just don't know what these people are going through. It's wild.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And I get this question from time to time, Shaq, why are your eyes darting all over the place? To some degree, I'm just terrible at keeping focus, but I am also putting up social posts for who wins, managing a staff. So work with me in that sense. I'm fully paying attention to the best of my ability.
I know you're working. All good.
Oh yeah, no, that's not for you so much as it is. Sometimes the audience inquires. I know Sean gets that criticism sometimes on the broadcast. Like, hey, why aren't you paying it? People are dumb. They'll be like, they're much kinder to me. I think I just exude that vibe. But they'll be like, Sean, why aren't you paying attention to your guests? And Sean's like, if people only knew the setup here, I got 3 monitors, 2 lights in front of my face that block off half the monitors, right? You got to see me bob and weave, trying to use that head movement.
There you go. I don't know if you caught the post show that me, Sean, and Denise did for Impact, where we were all on 360 view, but like that was.
I saw the screenshots.
That's what it was. Only on YouTube. It didn't happen on like Facebook or anywhere else or Twitter, but like. That was because that was a great example of that. Sean sitting there trying to like figure out why our feed is looking the way that it is. We have moderators trying to fix it. We have people direct messaging us. Hey, your video is messed up. We're like, yeah, I mean, we mentioned it about 3,000 times. We're aware. But yeah, I don't even know how that happens. I guess it's for VR headsets, but I didn't even know that was a thing.
And for those inquiring, no, we are not showing the fights. That would get this video pulled off YouTube. We need to make a living. But hey, pull up the fights and keep us on. We'll be here to chat, hang out, give our expert analysis on everything related to back pain and Cuban-U.S. relations.
There you go. Yeah, the 2 things I know the least about, probably from an actual intelligence standpoint. I saw Felder was getting some heat tonight for something. Did he say something on commentary that made people mad or something?
I'm not sure. So I haven't been all that glued on to social media tonight. So the prelims headliner, Luana, I'm going to butcher this name, Pinheiro, Luana Pinheiro. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. Beat Randa Marcos by disqualification. So towards the end of the first round, I think there were like seconds left. Randa threw an up kick while Luana was on her knees, and the referee had told her don't throw the kick, and she did. So it's hard to tell. It was a hard kick, but Luana wasn't outright unconscious, but it sort of hit her, and then she kind of sat back, and then she kind of fell and looked dazed. So Paul Felder did inquire and was sort of snooping around to see if he could figure out whether Luana was playing possum or not. I don't know if that is what it was. He doesn't think she was. He was just, he was doing his job and looking at the footage and trying to relay information. But that's the only thing I can think of. What was hilarious is at some point him and Michael Bisping did start teasing about that Joshua Fabia interaction that Paul Felder had during the fighter meeting. So that's fun to see a little bit of that.
What a situation, dude. Right. I mean, talk about a guy just ruining Diego Sanchez's reputation and career. I hate seeing that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Joshua Fabia. I know I brought it up, but
no, fair enough.
Joshua Fabia sucks. We'll leave it at that. I don't know the guy, but every time I've spoken to him and every time I've seen him speak, he reminds me of every manipulative pyramid scheme running leech of a human being that I've encountered in my life, and I have encountered them. I can't say with 100% certainty that is who Joshua Fabia is, but every time he talks and everything that he does publicly reminds me exactly of those people.
I'm right there with you.
But hopefully things work out for Diego
Yeah, man, that's just a sad way to see it. And he's supposed to fight Cerrone like next week or something. Man,
I will give Dana credit this one time for having the wherewithal to at least pay Diego his show money, his win money, and his sponsorship money. But let's not forget the Drakkar Klose had to fight just to get his show money after being concussed by another fighter during a stare down. So,
which is total BS. He should have paid that, no questions asked. Like, Klose shouldn't have even had to bring it up. They should have taken care of that.
Because he has a concussion now. Who knows when he's going to fight again? This isn't the sort of thing where the UFC, while I still don't entirely agree with it, I give a little bit more leeway when the UFC says, hey, sorry this happened. We're going to book you next week. But this is not that case. I don't know when Drakkar is going to fight again. Pay the man his money. He showed up for the job.
Yeah, and I mean, concussions, you never know. I mean, we've seen, like, remember, what was his name? Was it Davey Grant, the dude who is the lightweight fighter that was like the number one contender? He was going to fight Anthony Pettis.
Exactly who you're talking about. I think Davey Grant is English.
TJ Grant.
It is a Canadian, TJ Grant. Yeah, and he was looking like a legitimate title contender, and then it all just came crashing down from those concussions.
Yeah, he just never got to, like, he was number one contender, going to fight for the title and everything, and then just never fought again. And then, from what I understand, because he wasn't making that much to fight, he couldn't even come back to MMA once he was like good to go, because he couldn't pay for his training camps. So it's like, what a just terrible situation.
I made this rant too on the podcast, so I'll give the shortened version of it here. It's like, while I agree with Dana White's assessment that Joshua Fabia appears to be, quote, batshit crazy, it's also like, and he's got Stephan Bonner there too now. It was another guy whose career just spiraled. But it's like,
what a crew.
What else do you expect when there's no safety net for these guys? They fight, they take brain damage, they don't make enough money, and then you just kind of throw them out to the wild. It's like, I don't want to. I'm sorry if this. Excuse me if this comparison's a little offensive, but it's just like when kids phase out of the foster system. It's like you put people in positions where they're not equipped with tools, and then you say, deal with it. So like, Dana's not absolved from this Diego Sanchez situation either, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I totally agree, man. It's I mean, they used to at least have kind of that safety net before WME, where they were given like Liddell and all those guys jobs after they were fighting. Is basically to do meet and greets and be an ambassador. They didn't actually have to do any real work, it seemed like. But they were at least getting paid something that would hopefully prevent them from doing things like Chuck Liddell fighting Tito Ortiz and possibly going and fighting, they're talking about him and De La Hoya possibly. And so it's like, but maybe if he was with the UFC and still getting paid to do appearances, you wouldn't have to go out and do this stuff anymore.
Exactly. And listen, you don't want your significant other telling you, I don't want to do this anymore in the bed. So I've got the cure for you.
I know what this is.
Manscaped, baby. You know where we're going. Got to get my Sean Ross Sapp on here. Flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, and it's time to chop the weeds. Thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped, you can trim your holes safely and efficiently. I'm talking about the ball trimmers. Manscaped, the global leader in men's below-the-waist grooming, have an exclusive offer for our audience. Use code FIGHTFULMMA. You'll see it down below in the description to get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Join the other 2 million men who trust Manscaped. They are here to make sure you are trimmed and smelling nice. After all, it's time for some spring cleaning. Now, let me tell you, you might live in one of these storm areas. We've seen a lot of them, and you don't want to go hairy and gross. What else are you going to do? It's cold. You got to snuggle up to your loved one. I will say the flashlight on the Manscaped shaving device is the best part about it. Like, I'm the kind of guy who, when I, sanitize the blades, wants to clean up the neckline too, right? And I got these stubborn ones, but the flashlight is perfect. It lets you see exactly what you might be missing. Definitely a fan of that. And I told the story last time, so I won't tell it again, but the ball deodorant is legit. That is, if you're not going to get anything else, I'm telling you, get the ball deodorant. You feel good, you smell good, and your partner will love it. Manscaped are the global leader in men's below-the-waist grooming and have forever changed the grooming game with their amazing products. They are here to help with your above-the-waist holes too. Have you heard of their Weed Whacker? This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. No more gross nose hairs flying in the wind. The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotator dual blade system. Manscaped is making whacking your weeds a time to look forward to, delivering maximum confidence while providing hygiene. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code FightfulMMA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping. FightfulMMA at manscaped.com. It's spring cleaning, baby, and your balls will thank you. There we go, man. That works up a sweat, that ad read.
Well, I mean, luckily you got the ball deodorant to cool you down afterwards.
100%. Yeah, I had to trim that ad read.
They got a good product over there, though.
They genuinely do. They genuinely do. I had a little socially distant guy, and I will say, they've got me. I don't like to promote stuff on my own time, but I showed up with a T-shirt. I stuck my hands in there, and I told my friends, like 6 feet away, you got to smell it though. And they loved it. That deodorant works, man. That deodorant is amazing. And you know how your girlfriend is always like, you're a bachelor at the moment, but your girlfriend's always like, hey, come get a pedicure, manicure. Let me doll you up. It's actually quite nice. You don't believe them. There's something very satisfying about lotioning up your diddly dads. Like, you feel fresh, you feel good, you feel like you've taken care of yourself a little bit,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. I've been there too. I've been sitting there getting with the lady talking some other language, probably making fun of how bad my toes look, just sitting there and scrubbing away. And it's nice to relax. It's nice to relax. I'm actually historically, I learned from CM Punk about 10 years ago about the green gold bond. So I've always used that, like the powder. But now I'm hearing the Manscaped has got it beat. So it's like I'm going to be making the move myself. So this is no just ad read for an ad read. Like, I have been locked in on this Manscaped thing for a minute now. It's right up my alley. I'm with you too. I'm constantly getting those ingrowns when I'm shaving my neck, man. That light would definitely help me out.
I swear to God, Steven, if you use promo code FIGHTFUL instead of promo code FIGHTFUL MMA, I am coming for your throat.
I'll use Fightful MMA.
With the razor.
I got you.
Right across. So, Fightful MMA, guys. Sean Ross Sapp does not need your hard-earned money. I do. So, it's going in his pocket anyway. I might as well look good. Fightful MMA. That's where it's at.
There you go.
Okay, Jiri Prochazka. Oh, my God. I can't believe he got that insane antenna on the top of his head. Bro, that looks like something you need to trim with Manscaped. Like,
yeah,
that's
for real.
Incredible.
I don't know how you get that like that. I mean, I got long hair. I don't think I could do that.
I'm not even confident it's real. Like, is that his actual hair, or is it just some sort of like extension?
I don't know.
Would he be allowed to put an extension of his hair into the cage? I don't even know.
That's a good question, because surely there's female fighters who use extensions, right? There has to be.
For those wondering, the fight is about to start. Jiri Prochazka is in the cage, looking crazy wild, doing his maniac things. I am so relieved. Do we know where Prochazka's from?
Let me double check that so I don't sound totally ignorant here.
I am totally ignorant to it. Czechia.
That makes sense with all with the way his name is spelled, with all the what do you call that? The apostrophe. What's the actual term for that? Yeah. Shaq, I'm over here like thinking I'm coming on the show and like you're gonna just be this like super cultured just source of information, and now I'm just sitting. I mean, I don't know.
I haven't seen anyone in a year and a half. What culture could I possibly?
I'm the same way, man. I know. Fair enough.
I will say, so Jiri was saying in his promo how this path to MMA started with like a lot of pent up energy that he had to get out. He was street fighting, going to bars and clubs looking for fights. Man, a shout out to the Czech public who don't have to walk around in fear that they're going to get clocked by Jiri Prochazka at their high school, at their nightclub. I am so glad that this man found MMA so he could stop whooping on poor fools in his day-to-day life.
There you go. Yeah, it's much better to be doing that professionally for money than out on the streets, that's for sure.
People are asking for our predictions, maybe just tuning in. I think Steven, you and I are both in agreement. Jiri could win this, but I think people are selling Dominick way too short. He's only lost to the champs. Jiri record isn't all that impressive when you look at the guys he's beat recently. He could get it done, but I think Dominick should be the favorite.
Yeah, I completely echo those sentiments. And we kind of like we were talking about earlier, and you just mentioned again, I mean, it is MMA, the fans can be very fickle, right? Like, I mean, you lose one or two big fights and like they just think you're done. And that's how I feel like a lot of people feel about Dominick Reyes coming into this. But when you're losing to John Jones and Jan Blachowicz, like you just can't. That's not really a gauge for if somebody can still go or not. Like if he comes in here and loses tonight, there might be some questions because that's 3 in a row. No matter who you are, 3 in a row is never a good look in the UFC. But yeah, we're both with this. What do y'all think in the chat? And hi, Hannah, my biggest fan, Hannah Moore's in the chat. Hey, Hannah, happy birthday.
Oh, is this like the Hannah?
Yeah,
that is the Hannah. Hi, I hate her. That's all the time she gets.
I think I'm the only one at Fightful that I shouldn't say that she actually likes. She obviously likes everybody, or else she wouldn't always be on here. But she's very nice to me. She's very nice to me. So maybe it's because me and Jesse do a show and they're friends. I don't know. I don't know why she's so nice to me, but thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm quite the opposite. I'm only nice to people I don't like. I treat my friends like absolute garbage. So, Steven, you're going to get the nice treatment today. Okay. But I'm sure, because you will be back. Breaking news, Steven will be back at the end of the month. Do this show again
on my birthday, actually.
On your birthday,
on the 22nd, May 22nd.
Oh, lucky you! You gotta spend some more time with me.
Hey, I'd be watching the fights anyway, man. So this will be a good time.
I will be so much more mean to you. I threatened to slash your throat, so we're already on track. But I'll be so much more mean to you next time. That is a promise.
Fair enough.
Hannah gets an exception from the super chats because she's such a valuable member of the team, but the rest of you aren't. So leave a super chat donation at your questions, comments, and concerns. Red, Steven, I do not recommend going about this the way I do.
I'll figure it out. We'll get it figured out. Hannah doesn't know how many meals she has paid for with her super chats on the shows and stuff that I do. So I appreciate all that, guys. Thank you to everyone who's been so nice in the chat. I saw Ron earlier shouting out the Weekender, so thanks for that as well. Check that out at Fightful Select every Sunday. Tomorrow I'll be recording another one.
Yes, 100%. And to those asking, hey, where can I find an illegal stream of this? My first statement is I'm not going to tell you, unfortunately. Second is I am so shocked, and I'm not admitting to any wrongdoing. I'm simply saying I'm a active member of the internet, and you pick up a few tips and tricks here and there. I'm always shocked by how many people in my personal life and my professional life reach out to me on this live chat asking for illegal streams. Like, I would imagine it is so easy for people to find. You have ad blockers these days. Like, there's so many tools to very easily find illegal streams if you're going to do it. I'm always shocked by how many people don't know. And that's no criticism to you guys. Love that you're here. Maybe you're not as maybe not as obsessed with the internet as I am, but it's like my girlfriend. Like she grew up climbing trees and playing outdoors like a normal child. I was behind the computer. So I guess I'm just more adept at this point, but it always catches me off guard. So, cause it's so second nature to me. If you were to ask me to find you an illegal stream and I were to comply, I could find it in a second for you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I am 100% definitely watching this from ESPN Plus right now, just for the record, but I am pretty sure that the alleged things that I used even back in like college, like 10 years ago, that stuff's like still out there. Like it's not hard, y'all. If you're looking, I don't want to promote anything, but I mean, I'm sure y'all can get creative out there. I mean, Google exists. Jeez, come on, y'all.
Yeah. No offense to you guys. So we love you. We're happy that you're here.
Yeah,
don't leave.
Yeah. I'm very glad.
So the fight has started. Let me first start by saying I love the way Jiri's antenna is just bouncing up and down.
Yeah, that's some skill. He's got it like right angled now. It's like flying off his head. That must have taken hours. That's like distracting me from the actual fight.
So much so. And nice head kick by Dominick Reyes to open up. Guys, if you're watching this along with your stream of the show, keep in mind, it's just the nature of live streaming. There's going to be a delay between us and you. You'll probably see the action before we do. We will be there shortly. Hey, thank you so much to the lovely, beautiful Hannah M. I'm old and going to bed. Have a good stream, guys. Thank you so much for dropping by, as well as Michael Redden. Appreciate this stream. Appreciate you, Michael. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Ooh, I love the way Prochazka throws. Like his hand's always down. He moves. He just swung his arm back like he was going to punch and threw a front kick instead. It's just so much fun to watch. And if he can make it work at the highest level, we're all in for a treat.
Yeah, I love those outlier dudes who like just kind of do their own thing, like a Michelle Pereira.
Oh, huge left from Dominick Reyes.
That was nice. No, you're good.
Oh, another one. And Jiri stuns Dominick Reyes with one of his own. That was a straight right. Reyes in the southpaw position lands with another left.
Well, I wound up a little bit behind you. Okay, we're good now. Are you at like 310 or so right now?
What are you at exactly?
I'm at 307.
I'm at 308.
Okay.
Why don't you stop at 3 and then I just start again?
259. Okay, cool. Perfect.
There we go.
I don't know how that happened. We were synced up and somehow the ESPN Plus must have lagged or something.
Bro, when I do this with Lucas Grandsire, he is watching legally through Hulu. He purchased it through Hulu, and his legal stream is behind illegal streamers in the chat.
Oh, that's
annoying. I have no confidence in the broadcast. Dominick Reyes gets a takedown, mount. Prochazka explodes with a bridge. Dominick almost takes the back, but we're back standing.
Oof.
Ooh. Oh, 3-punch combination lands and backs up Reyes. Prochazka throwing head kicks, swarming. And this is the hard part because you can't stand in front of Prochazka and just let him do this. Dominick, to his credit, constantly moving, trying to angle off the fence. But he's getting lit up right now.
Yes, he is. Oh, Reyes coming. Oh, throwing at least.
Man, they are both swinging wild. Prochazka is getting Dominick to play his game. What I'll say about Prochazka is in and out move. And he hurt Reyes again. Prochazka, oh my God, to the body. Wow, Prochazka's doing so much damage. Oh, huge left.
He's standing right in the pocket. That's oh.
You know what it is about Prochazka, I think? It's the fact that he's constantly in motion, side to side, front and back. Every time Reyes lands, Prochazka's actually moving back with the punch. So he gets hit with a hard straight, but his body and his head are already going back. He's not meeting at that hardest point of contact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not absorbing the full blow. He's
rolling with the punches. Yeah. It's not even rolling. He's 360 degrees. He's always moving with the punches. Oh, huge uppercut by Jiri. Dominick comes back with 2 looping shots. This is great. This is exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, it's just for Prochazka just swarming over and over, and Reyes is just landing these straights.
Dominick is bleeding. He looks tired. Here's the thing. Jiri's conditioning is awesome. So if this is the fight, Reyes needs a one-shot knockout.
I agree, 100%.
Because he's backed up. He's already plotting. Dominick's hands are coming low. Big body kick from Jiri. Dude, Jiri's awesome.
He is. He keeps his hands real low, though. That's kind of concerning.
Oh, left jab lands hard for Jiri. If Jiri wins like this, he's getting the next shot after Blachowicz versus Teixeira. Like, this is the guy you want to get a title shot to.
Yeah, and he's someone new who we haven't seen get a chance or anything. I love that Teixeira's getting the next chance, though. He worked his way back to that. Yeah.
Oh, huge shots, backing up Reyes.
Okay.
And then
great round.
Great round for Jiri.
That's another thing, too, that we didn't talk about that I always kind of have in the back of my mind when you're a guy like Dominick Reyes and you have, back-to-back title shots and you're so close and you fail both times. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you get back in there, I'm sure his motivation is as high as it's been, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, that's a tough spot to be into. Like, his back is really against the wall right now.
He already looks tired. He's absorbed a ton of damage. And, wow, hey, Doubling up. Thank you again, Michael Redden. Reyes proving he can take punishment, but this much. Yeah. If that's how much damage he took in 5 minutes, and I'm confident Yuri's going to be able to keep up with this pace for at least 2 more rounds, I don't like Dominick's chances, man.
I'm with you. The only, I mean, like you were saying, if Reyes can knock him out, that's kind of where I'm at right now. But Prochazka's going to give him a chance because he's standing right in front of him. I mean,
and he's taken big shots too. Dominick has landed.
I don't think both these guys can take this for 5 rounds though. So this is going to be
nice body kick from Reyes. Now Reyes is pushing the pace, which I like, but we did see his cardio kind of tested in that Jan Blachowicz fight. Granted, there was that body kick that did a lot of damage, and he had a broken nose.
Yeah, Blachowicz is just an animal.
Huge straight from Jiri. Yuri's crazy, dude. He just plotted. He's leaning in now with his hands low.
Yeah, that's so risky. Oh, I like it though when it works.
I love Shaheen Al-Shadi of The Athletic, who just wrote, "This is absurdly fun." That is the perfect way to describe this fight.
Yes.
I can't believe that Reyes is only 9 strikes behind. 8.
That's yeah, as you said. Yeah, it did seem a bit more one-sided, but especially when Prochazka was like really swarming. Mm-hmm. Reyes is landing that straight left over and over again.
Very nice shots. Ooh, landing kicks. So the more Prochazka. Oh, huge shot from Prochazka has Reyes backing up. They're both swinging so hard. Dang. This is a way better round for Dominick Reyes, but Prochazka, I also think, is kind of taking his foot off the gas, maybe preserving the gas tank a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that. He also might be, I mean, I don't.
Big shot. Oh, big. Dominick Reyes. He threw the Andre Arlovski back fist. Landed pretty nice.
Call back to earlier.
Oh, big shovel uppercut. Lancer Prochazka and Reyes is swarming. Ooh. I love that Reyes is firing back and trying to circle out when he gets back up to the fence, but it's just not looking good for him, and he's so bloodied up already.
Yeah. Prochazka looks just composed, like he's still in his element, going to by his game plan.
Such a flow state. Nice a little step in elbow lands for Jiri. Oh, huge shot from Reyes. Looks like it wobbled Jiri, and Jiri shot for a double leg takedown. That's how you know he's not playing. Reyes is hunting for a guillotine. Arm guillotine by Dominick Reyes. Full guard.
Is he? I mean, he's under the neck or under the chin.
Yeah, he's got to get an angle on it a little bit. And now he's getting it more. He's starting to stretch out Yuri's neck. And you know what? That giant ponytail might not help him in this situation. It works as a little bit of friction. I can see one side of Yuri's neck looks to be clear.
Yeah,
but you can still get the stroke.
I think he's out. Yeah,
and he's out. Once that antenna wiggles its way out.
Right. Wouldn't that be some shit if Dominick just like grabbed him by the hair and pulled him right back into it? It's like, ugh. Right over to half guard. I can't. Almost side control.
That was really nice, but what do you do with? Oh man, Dominick Reyes. Oh, he looks like you know, like a little kid is like playing with their food and they got ketchup and beans all over their face.
Good call. Yep, just like that.
Nice back elbows and an up kick. I think he just rocked Jiri, but Jiri fell into side control and wow, it's so hard to tell, right? Was that?
It looked like he dropped him, but he looks like he's very together for someone who.
Oh, and now he's throwing huge punches. I love the way Jiri retaliates. Oh, big punch back to their feet, and Jiri just goes on the offense. Wow, what a fight!
This pace has been nonstop
for guys at 205 as well. Oh my god! Oh, he knocks Dominick unconscious with a spinning back elbow.
Oh, was it an elbow? I just saw him swing. Oh, man.
Face planted Dominick Reyes, and he's still on the floor. Wow.
Wow. I thought it was a fist. I didn't realize he got him with that elbow. Wow. Good for him. You're right, man. That's he's got the winner of Teixeira and Blachowicz, no question.
Damn, that's 3 consecutive losses for Reyes, 2 knockout losses, a ton of damage.
Whew, that was
wow. So he hits Reyes possibly with a little eye rake.
It looks like it might have been.
Throws the elbow and then spins through with the back elbow right up through like the nose and face plants him. Damn.
Incredible performance.
That was absolutely insane.
Herb Dean was right on it. Good job, Herb.
Wow, that was incredible.
Good for him.
Good for him. That was an incredible fight. That is a performance of the night bonus, no doubt about it. And that's what you got to do, man. I'm a little surprised Marvin Vettori got a middleweight title shot, but if you want a title shot, this is what you do.
Yeah, I'm with you too on that. I mean, I would have preferred Whitaker, but I know that but it's not like he's gonna get the winner anyway, so I'm okay with that if that's how it plays out. But
they say that until Marvin Vettori wins. I'm not saying he will, but until Marvin Vettori wins, and they give Izzy an immediate rematch.
For sure, yeah, that's possible as well.
Do not trust the UFC. Wow, so we were both dead wrong, but what a performance! I have no shame in being wrong on that one.
No, that guy is. I mean, that you got to give him the title shot unquestionably. And he's someone, like we were saying before, who hasn't had a chance. Like even Teixeira, his title shot was like a decade ago, and he worked his way back up. So I'm really happy to see him get that. But like that was a statement that Prochazka just made right there.
Do we know? I know it's booked. Do you know roughly when the Blachowicz Teixeira fight is?
I don't, but it has to be within the next couple months, right?
Yeah.
Like it's got.
So you just keep Jiri, maybe even get him prepped as a replacement in the event something falls out. Because while I am super stoked for Glover Teixeira, honestly, if something happens and Teixeira falls out, Jiri's a bigger fight especially after this performance.
I think it's probably maybe. The thing with the Teixeira fight is that I think he matches up really well against Blachowicz. Like I think Blachowicz is going to win, but I think like stylistically it could be really interesting. But like September, gotcha. Yes. But Prochazka, like I don't see Teixeira throwing something like what Prochazka just threw. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, incredible! 3rd spinning back elbow KO in UFC history. Wow.
There's Don Young Kim, they said, and I missed the other one.
Yeah, I missed the other one too. Steven, closing thoughts on the main and co-main.
Man, I don't know if we could say anything more than we already have. Like that's co-main, starting with the main, like we were just saying, Reyes or not Reyes. Well, tough for Reyes. I mean, that's 3 in a row now, 3 losses in a row. That's I don't know. I don't know what he does next, especially with how brutal that knockout loss just was.
Yeah.
So you got to feel bad for him there, but Prochazka's he's got to be next in line after Teixeira. And then in that co-main, Giga, if he went out there and just complete domination over Cub. It's just, we're seeing the emergence of some more contenders here, like Giga at featherweight. I think, to be honest, featherweight's probably my favorite. Like
it's
top
insane.
15. Yeah,
there's no boring fight.
I totally agree. I love it from number 1 all the way to number 15. Every single one of those fighters. And he's in that mix now with those other guys, and I could see him as being a contender if he gets another 1 or 2 big wins. So big nights for guys who are really on kind of on the come up. You know what I mean?
Agreed wholeheartedly. Steven, as we start to wrap up here, man, tell the people you got your social handles here, but let people know where they can find you.
Thank you once again, Shaq, for having me on, first of all. And then My Twitter is FightTalk_FIGHTTALK_. If you're a fan of independent professional wrestling and you want to watch independentwrestling.tv, use my code FightTalk. So you can do independentwrestling.tv or IWTV.live, and you just put the code FightTalk in there with no space in the promo code spot. It helps me out a lot. And then everything else I have going on, I just keep updated on my Twitter, my podcast, the YouTube stuff that I do. I video edit for all things MMA here on YouTube. So if you want to check that channel out, I formerly was with MMA on Point. So a lot of people know my work from there. So yeah, check that stuff out. And yeah, Twitter. And once again, thank you, Shaq. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you for being here. Guys, as always, thank you for joining the live chat. Thank you to Han and Michael for the super chat donations. If you haven't already, please hit thumbs up on this, subscribe, tap the notification bell, and then I'm going to make you do a little extra legwork. Head over to Fightful MMA. Numbers have been skyrocketing lately, so that's great to see. Please hit subscribe. A lot of fun content coming there. UFC fighters reacting to stuff. Some pro wrestling crossover content soon as well. Thank you for that. Time for that crappy outro of mine. Stay tuned for everything Fightful and so delightful. Peace out.